more often than not, men don't talk, but not because we don't want to, but because nobody actually listens when we do. Now, I'm not gonna be all sad shit and talking about like nobody ever listens because there's people who do, but more often than not, it's just kind of doled out or not taken as serious because you are a man and you have to be strong and keep up that strong figure in perception. You know, when dudes have an issue, it's more of you got to figure that shit out and man up, handle it. And then that's when we like kind of stop asking for outside help and just hold the shit in, but that's not good. Holding in the emotions and not being able to express it, be it anger, sadness, confusion, you gotta let that shit out. You can't hold that in. As a dude, you feel responsible for most of the shit in your life. Your stability, strength, direction, all that shit is like people would say it's all on you. Even young guys like 15, 15 like 17, 15 to 18. They're supposed to have a plan, money, purpose, confidence and shit straight out of high school. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't know what you're going to be, then the fuck are you doing? You're not allowed to not have shit figured out or be a little weak. If you cry a little too much, now you're a pussy. You know, you got to be the one that they cry to, and that makes dudes lonely because nobody wants to be seen as weak. That's usually taken as a sign of inadequacy, like you're not enough of a man to be able to bear that shit. But when a man speaks up, it's just never it's never as real as the person says it is. He's dramatic or soft. It's a little snowflake. And it's weird because society romanticizes women's vulnerability. Like they love when a woman is willing to cry near you and that type of shit. But if a man is willing to cry near a woman, that shit is a straight turn off. You know, the fake confidence and shit. That's like I wouldn't say it's like a drug, but it's a mask that isn't really that strong. Like social media will push the idea of a perfect man, the 666 fucking standard. Yeah, nigga gotta be 6 foot, 6 figures, and 6 inches on some shit. I've heard that before, but not often. But they, the social media pushes that shit to be what you need to be. That's a standard basis, but that shit's rare. One of millions, nigga. Will you see somebody young be so well off? And when you get dismissed enough times, you stop trying to speak up about it. The same way people take women's sexual assault and shit so seriously is because if a woman says her story and people don't listen, she ends up shutting down and her story will never get out to people. Nobody wants that. But with the guy, it's just, they don't really like care as much. What niggas need isn't no hype or bravado, no motivation type shit. What they need is just support. Just a place to talk and be able to vent, or just a person to vent to without being judged. Something else to help with it is like having a structure, a routine, and purpose. A reason to get up that isn't just trying to not die, trying to not starve. Most dudes ain't trying to be strong. They're just trying to not fall apart. And they gotta pump fake and put on that cover just to act like that rock 24/7 when sometimes it's alright to not be that rock. If you are a dude that's watching this, you're not alone. You're allowed to feel, you're allowed to struggle. Don't disappear into yourself. Being strong isn't about not hiding, it's about dealing with it. And a good way to learn about your problems more in depth and to deal with them better is to get an outside perspective or even just to have somebody else hear what you're going through. And sometimes you might not have that person, but even if you don't have that certain person who you can vent to, hell, writing it down in a notebook, recording it, finding a way to get it out of your brain and into something physical will always help you out. So just take niggas' mental health more serious.